In 2016, a Midwestern man paid a hitman on the dark web to kill his wife. The hitman was a scam. The hitman never came. So the man got a gun, he drove home, and he did it himself. And the only reason we know any of this is that the scammer kept the records. The scammer ran a website, but not just any normal website. You couldn't find it on Google. You needed a special browser called Tor that bounced your connection around the world, hiding who you were and where you were. The site was called Besa Mafia. It claimed to be Albanian organized crime. It wasn't. Its founder went by a single name, Yura. And Yura had a menu: a beating cost $5,000, a shooting $20,000, a staged accident $150,000, payment in Bitcoin only, no refunds. But here's the thing about Yura's services. Yura never delivered. He took the Bitcoin and disappeared. He left no bodies, no bruises, just empty wallets. But Yura made one mistake. He kept records. And a British researcher named Chris Monteiro spent 3 years inside Besa Mafia, quietly logging every single transaction. What Chris found was that hundreds of people had paid Yura to have someone killed. So the strange truth was this: Yura was a criminal who never actually killed anyone. The dangerous ones were his customers. Over 3 years, more than 500 people from 30 countries paid Yura to have someone murdered. The total amount paid was roughly $1.7 million in Bitcoin. Most of them got nothing for their money, but a few stories stand out. John Musbach, New Jersey. Musbach paid $20,000 to have a 14-year-old boy killed. The same teen who had reported him for child abuse. The teen lived. Musbach lost his money and went to prison anyway. Then there was Brigham from California. Brigham paid $5 toward a contract to kill his own stepmother. Yura asked for the rest. Bo couldn't pay. The stepmother lived. And in Minnesota, a 19-year-old named Alexis Stern got a knock on her door from the FBI. Someone had paid Besa Mafia $5,000 in Bitcoin to have her killed. Alexis would have died, except the hitman who took the money had no intention of doing the job. For most of Besa Mafia's customers, the Dark Web Hitman was a fantasy. It cost them their freedom. But not anyone's life. Until one customer broke the pattern. One customer turned the fantasy into a real crime. His name was Stephen Allwine. By every public measure, Stephen Allwine had the life. The respectable Christian household in Cottage Grove, Minnesota. 2 children. A wife named Amy. A stable job as an IT engineer, and a position as a deacon at the United Church of God. But inside, Stephen had been planning something else for over a year. Stephen had a second life that Amy didn't know about: encrypted browsers, polyamory forums, an Ashley Madison profile under the name Steve44. $50,000 quietly siphoned out of the family savings and converted into crypto. And on his work computer, a copy of Amy's weekly calendar. Every choir practice, every appointment, every moment Amy would be home alone. In April of 2016, Stephen paid 12 Bitcoin to a wallet on Besa Mafia. The contract was simple: kill Amy Allwine, stage it as a suicide. Stephen waited. Nothing happened. Yura, as always, took the money and disappeared. Most of Besa Mafia's customers would have just walked away. Stephen didn't walk away. Stephen made a different choice. November 13th, 2016. At 7:32 in the evening, Stephen leaves Sunday evening church early, telling no one why. By 9:15, he stops at a sporting goods store on the way home and quietly buys ammunition. And at 11:47 that night, Stephen called 911. Cottage Grove police arrived at the modest, suburban 2-story to find Stephen sobbing, telling them his wife Amy had killed herself. He led them upstairs. They found Amy in the master bedroom, a 9mm Beretta on the floor, a handwritten suicide note on the bedside table. The note read, "I can't do this anymore." Within 90 minutes, the staging fell apart. The handwriting on the suicide note did not match Amy's actual handwriting. The bullet had entered Amy from behind, at an angle no person can shoot themselves from. And when investigators imaged Stephen's work computer, they found something Stephen had forgotten to delete: searches. How to make murder look like suicide. Besa Mafia onion link. Untraceable poison. 47 results in total, recovered from the hard drive. The staging was clumsy, but the staging was not how they actually caught Stephen Allwine. Stephen pleaded not guilty. The trial lasted 3 weeks. The jury deliberated for 3 hours. The verdict was first-degree murder. The sentence, life in prison, without the possibility of parole. But the real evidence against Stephen Allwine didn't come from the bullet, or the note, or the search history. It came from a hacker 3,000 miles away in London. Chris Monteiro had quietly logged every transaction on the Besa Mafia server for years. Hundreds of payments, most of them dead-end scams. But on March 18, 2016, one transaction stood out. Wallet number 4, Cottage Grove, Minnesota. 12 Bitcoin, paid to Yura to kill a woman named Amy Allwine. Chris handed that database to the FBI in 2017. Stephen's wallet was already in it. As for Yura, Yura is still online, still taking Bitcoin, still not killing anyone, and somehow by doing absolutely nothing at all, saving lives.